So let me make sure Stephen is in. Okay, so this is our first office hour. I just felt like it was something that I might be able to answer some questions. I've been getting, questions here and there. Some are about content, some are administrative. Um, just, a variety of questions. And you could probably tell I'm, my schedule is very, very tight, like all of you. But I've got 5 classes to teach and plus some other doctoral students to advise, and trying to make sure that I have enough, bandwidth to do you guys service. So hold on a second. Hey, Stephen. Okay, that was Stephen. He was having a hard time with audio. But anyway, bottom line is whatever is on your mind, I'm going to devote an hour each week if needed to kind of go over those. And if nothing, I'm here and nobody shows up, that's okay too. But right now we're in week 3. We had 2 really busy weeks. This week is about the business plan, getting ready for that. That's a major deliverable. And plus we finished marketing, you got economics coming up. You had a first quiz. Some did well, some did not. We got another quiz in economics. So it's just the train is rolling. So let me stop and just say, any questions? What's on your mind? What did you want to get out of tonight?
I
Not
don't
all at
want to.
once.
I don't want to hog up the whole thing.
That's okay,
Um,
but go ahead, Diana. What are you
I
thinking?
mean, my stuff is specifically about the business plan,
Okay.
and the development of that, and sort of going into the Excel documents. I sent you the email. I think I've kind of settled on the way I've got it set up of my service names and my service features being the suppliers.
Okay.
For that, I think it works well. It makes sense to me. I've been able to deliver some, what their feature descriptions are, what their advantages are, and things of that nature. My question then comes into actually the money portion of it, the purchase prices. So when you're selling travel, as a travel agent, you make a commission on travel. So you book a trip for $5,000. I may make 10% of that 5,000 as a travel agent.
Okay.
So should I be focused on that commission percentage, or should I be focused on that purchase price?
Well, do you collect all the revenue?
No, I
Then
am. So yeah, I would be. I'm kind of a sub, I
yeah,
guess you'd consider it. I have a
right.
host company.
You your price is what you collect, right? And now in some cases, if it's bundled and you do all, end to end, you collect it all, then you end up paying, the airline, the hotel, blah, blah, blah. But you're not doing that. You're doing the basically you're the intermediary. They come to you, say, I want to go from A to B. And, and then you package it, right? You're selling a specific, like you're targeting certain things that you're really, where there's a demand. But in
Mhm.
the end, you're taking a percentage of it. You're
Okay.
taking a commission. You're like a real
Mhm.
estate. If you think about a real estate agent, that
Mhm.
they work on commission, right?
Correct.
You don't pay them for the house. And now you can see from a pricing standpoint, that's become very competitive. Used to be 6%. That was sort of the stated thing. It wasn't, there was no law. It's just what it's settled in at. And with Reddit and, you know, all of these online realtors, and you can do it yourself and all that, that fee has come down because
Mm.
of, competition. That's how it should work. But you're going to start with whatever, if you're at a 10% rate, is that the going rate that others do this at? Is that what kind of the
So
conventional?
that's the hard part about it is it fluctuates based on who my supplier is. So basically who my service feature
Okay.
for the Excel document. So I may choose to go with Virgin Atlantic Cruises and say I would like to sell Virgin Atlantic Cruises, and they pay me a 16% commission. And then if
Oh,
I
okay.
went with Norwegian, Norwegian may only pay me a 10% commission.
Okay. Well, I mean, you've got like tiered pricing based on who your providers are.
Okay,
And
yep,
I think that, what would be what would you need to do, which you probably already have, is who are your providers? What are their fees? What are they
mm,
paying you? And so that to you would be, you've got customers that may not prefer Norwegian over Carnival over,
mm,
whoever they are, because, they go to certain places. Not all of them go to the same place. So you may have
right.
to select this one or that one.
You also got Professor. You also got Disney cruises too.
Yeah,
That's
Disney, right, right. And the sound works, Stephen. Thank you. So,
yeah. I figured out the technical issue, but the
okay,
thing is, see, she got a business that she's doing. Me, like I've done like things in the past, but I really don't have a solid business. Like I've done like some computer work for people, like on my own, but
sure.
I build them or whatever. But I never really had a solid business where I actually had specific income coming in, profit margins, all that
Well, that's
fun
what you
stuff.
want to do then. You want to first settle on what would that be, and it would be something that's close to you, something that you're good at, that you've done before, right? We talked about the co-op. I
But the
mean,
thing is, here's the thing. Can I tell you a little bit more about the co-op? See, the
well,
thing with the co-op,
maybe not right now. Let's get through some of the questions that these guys
but my
had.
question is how do you market a co-op? Because you're buying like into like a kind of a franchise, almost like they get paid. How they get their money, they get it from like not a scholarship but grants.
Right.
There's specific co-op grants that they get that pays the the leadership, like Philip and all them that control the co-op.
Okay. But just Stephen, just time out for
Well, how the
now
hell would
on
I be able to do something out of that? Because I
well,
looked at everything.
let's start with just trying to nail down what it is that you're going to do. So Diana's got this travel agency, travel service. I'm not sure. You have a name. I can't
Can I
remember,
do
but
like a computer repair business?
that
Because
would
that's
work.
more like where I actually have something more vitality. The vitalities there. Like
You
where I
can,
have
yeah,
my
that would be a good one. But let me finish with Diana. Your price would be the fee that you charge, and then that's dictated by your supplier, right? So, do you have any negotiation? Is any leverage on that? That's it. That's what it is.
No,
Okay.
it's yeah, those commissions are set. I could choose to charge a service fee. Some travel
In addition, right?
advisor, right? In
Right.
addition, some travel advisors do an additional service fee.
Right.
Um, I don't do that. This isn't my primary source of income, so it's not like
Right.
that's not my purpose of this right now.
Right.
Maybe later in life, but and once I get this kind of established. So I think I really understand what you're talking about as far as, what's my high, what's my low, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But the customer never sees my
No,
commission
they
rate.
they don't know that.
They
I
don't
mean,
know
I'm
that.
assuming they don't know when you book something for a customer. and you say it's $5,000. Did they write a check or put that on their card?
Yep,
Or,
for $5,000.
but who did they pay that to?
They pay that to my host agency, or to, if I'm using Carnival or one of those other, cruise lines, they're paying directly to them. And then on the backside,
You get the commission.
yeah, kind of like where Steven was going with his co-op thing, but you get that,
I
it
see.
trickles down.
But the thing, Diana, with that co-op, it's where you pay into it, like you pay like a $200 fee. You buy into it, but the thing is, you get it's called dividends and shares in it. It's like a bunch of like businesses that provide sustainable market food, like healthy food that don't have all that crap in it that's going to give you cancer,
Right. It's
basically.
it's a
And
it's a co-op, right?
yeah,
You're buying
I
into,
stand it.
yeah. So so on yours, Diane, I think you're pretty well set. And you're going through the process of just, populating the spreadsheets and the Word document. Do you have any questions with any of that? I mean, other than I'm not sure this is right or not. But I'll tell you, if you can get that done, even if it's a rough draft, then you're way ahead of the game, because this is due in week 7, which won't be long before we're there. But you don't want to be putting stuff in week 7. If you can start doing it now, and even if they're just placeholders, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna put something in there.
And that's what I'm working on right now. So
Okay.
yeah,
are you actually doing this,
I'm good on that.
Diana? Are you doing
Thanks,
the
Doc.
spreadsheets?
She is. She's populating the spreadsheets with just preliminary stuff. And but you're right. She also has, this is a going concern for her. It's not her first thing, but you do this. You know what you're doing. So there's an advantage. You have an advantage because you're actually running a business. It's not, you know, you don't live or die off of it, but you're in it. You're familiar with it.
What about
Uh,
people like me, uh, Dr. Bob, that don't have a business? Like,
so Stephen, I would take, whether it's the co-op, it might be the computer repair business, might be more, because the co-op, you're not the only one there, right? You
no,
you
you're not
are.
actually making any money either. All it
Well,
is you're making it's called dividends off, like it's a stock you invest
it's
in
an
it.
investment, really.
Yeah,
You've made an investment and you're expecting a return.
yeah, basically. It's
So
not, there's
that's
no income. That's the thing.
well, the income is your dividends, but that's
Yeah,
not
that's about it.
really the intent of a business plan. So I would go back to, if the idea is a computer repair business, um, start with that. Start with and something about that.
Like basically my mark my target would, my as far as the target would be like customers that need repair work, upgrade, technical support,
Yep.
virus removal.
You think of the Geek Squad with,
Yeah,
at Best Buy, and
but it's
now that's a big enterprise, but
oh yeah.
there's a whole bunch of small, you know,
If you
small
if you
companies, small, one-man shows, if you will, that do this. And some do this. That's their primary source of income.
I mean,
One of the links in the e-text was a video about a gentleman who ran sort of like a tech business where he developed web pages. That might help with generating some thoughts.
Yeah,
well, I made actually Diana some pretty decent money when I was in undergrad. I was taking web construction, and I learned how to do all these template websites where they give you a template and you build your website around the template. And then I got really good at it, and I showed my work to a couple people I know that had a business. Like I did it for a tree company, and I did it for a guy that owned a bowling alley, and what they had templates already. And what I did, they had websites. So I went in and I modified and I kind of tweaked it out and
so
cleaned it up, made it nice.
Stephen, that's what I think, that's what you should do. You've already got experience doing that, dovetailing repair with web development, upgrade, um, you know, I think that's a
You
really
have
good
people
offer.
out there that that don't know what the hell they're what it is. Like it's foreign language.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
my
it
computer,
is mysterious, to most
what's going
people.
on?
Right.
Or somebody has a gaming system set up to like no one else a big business. Dr. Bob is the surround sound
Oh yeah.
movie theater
The-
experience with the big $3,000 TV like I have, and
right.
then you got the sound system like the Dolby Optimus $2,000
And you got to
sound
have the
system.
chair, right? And you've got to have all of
Yeah, but the
the
thing is,
accessories, right? So
you
let
got a
me,
lot of
Stephen, let's
different.
pause and let me ask Kathy and Michelle what they're thinking about in terms of a business idea.
Well, I'll let Kathy go first, and then
Me?
Okay, Kathy.
I had two ideas. One was about a house renovation, since we just sold our house, and I was thinking of a company that comes in and renovates. And so we're actually involved in something similar, and I was just gonna make a business plan based off of that.
Are you flipping
Or
houses, Kathy, or
no, no, but it was very odd. So there's a company that came in and they're like, "Oh, well, we'll give you 75% of your house value up front. We'll help you renovate your house, and then we'll relist it for a higher price." So it sounds like they're kind of making a business out of it.
oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I was gonna try to probably go off something like that, or probably product sales, because that's what I'm involved in with healthcare every day. And we always have companies coming in, and so I was just gonna try to think of maybe making up a product and try to go off that similar business model off of that.
Well, either would work, but I think the first one, because you have fresh experience and housing is a hot market, even with higher interest rates. There's just not enough, we have a net shortage of housing, available housing. So that's why you see we'll buy your house, or that
Yeah,
kind of offer, and you saw it directly, and you
yeah,
get all
it's
kinds of
crazy.
offers, right? So
Yep,
if you just think about just the raw economics of that, and you're in Florida, right?
yep,
So,
mm-hmm.
rapidly growing, so very acute issue there.
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah, South
it's
Florida, yeah,
opportunity to learn the economics in that domain. If it were me, I would lean on that one. I don't know
yeah,
the world that you're in terms of healthcare products, but um, product development in anything will take a long time. You have to think it
mm-hmm.
through, and then the longer out it is before you actually get a sale, the less um, realistic it is, right? You're
True, yeah.
making lots of guesses. But doing,
Houses everyone needs.
yeah, housing everyone needs, and we go in, fits and starts. So we're interest rates are up, things are going to slow down, but they're not going to stop, especially
Right.
in a growing area. And you might, because you want to have a business plan, but you also want to have something unique,
Yeah,
right? Diana, you already have carved out, sort of your niche, if you will, what you're good at, what you're really good at. I can't remember offhand, but those kinds of international travel things. What what you might do, Kathy, talk it over with your husband, however you want to do this, if you proceed. What
mm-hmm.
could you do that's a little different? I mean, do you or your husband or both have an eye for a certain type of, hey, we really are good at kitchens, because kitchen is
Yeah,
sort of the central part of that's really the deal, the showstopper, deal breaker in most homes is the
especially the
kitchen.
open space now. Everyone wants the open
Yeah.
space. I hear a lot. I watch a lot of HGTV, and I see on the shows a lot of people lean more towards the open space
Oh
now
yeah,
versus the all these different rooms and separations and everything.
absolutely. So the wall
Mm-hmm.
behind me, I don't know, you can't see it. Hold on, I'll see if I can get rid of this. Um, Hold on. I'm not really quick at the draw. Okay,
I
so
can say opening, yeah.
this okay, was a wall.
Wow.
And about 3 years ago, then that's the kitchen on the other
Oh
side.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
we have a big family. We have 7 children that, ran around here a long time. They're
You
all
got to keep an
gone.
eye on them.
But we only had like right over there, like this big of a door. And so
Wow.
the room that I'm in, this is called Pop's room or, you know, Dad's room or whatever, Bob's room, was not really accessible. It was to be a fifth bedroom, and we had a little door there and a little door over here. And what we did was that doorway now is just open
Mm.
space, and that is a open space. So, when we built the house back in the late 80s, that wasn't the end thing. You've had
Wow.
rooms. Now it's open space. So, anyway,
Yeah, I really opened it up.
That's
yeah,
what we
and I'm
did.
not trying to showcase this. I'm just saying
That's what we did
Mm-hmm.
with
you're onto
Dr.
something.
Bob. That's what we did with our house
Yeah,
before my foster parents died, where I used to live in Barkansas up by
opened
Mass.
it up.
Like it was an old. He built it in the late '60s. It was old, the old raised ranch house,
Yeah.
and we opened it up. We took a couple walls out, and we made it like
Well,
the dining, everything opened, and like there was so much more space, and it looked so
well,
nice.
and it's just how it's the lifestyle today. So I think, Kathy,
Mm-hmm.
if your niche was we're open space, or take something like that and make a business name out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and that you watch the videos, that's really important to be able to explain in the title of your company what you do without people having to guess. You know what I mean? So,
I think I'm stuck on my title. That's the worst part.
well,
Open
well,
spaces.
actually,
Open spaces. There you go. Yeah.
well,
It's
open
almost
spaces, but
therapeutic.
the other part too, having done startup businesses, help people with startup businesses, the incline.
Is this project got a narrative in a spreadsheet?
Yeah, you write this, you have to fill out the the Word
Excel
document. There's a
and the Word.
template, right? And then
But
you
you
have
also said
spreadsheets.
so. Can I ask the question? What do I do about my spreadsheets? How do I like do it as far as like how much everything's gonna cost for all my
You have to, Stephen, you have to do some research and, look, Google, what's the average cost, what's the average price for computer repair, you know,
it's like $65 an hour, but you gotta look at that what you go like the new egg, you go to different
well,
like
go, where I would start is
places and you look at what
I,
the parts cost.
I would start with, what is the Geek Squad charge, right? We were
Like
there actually
can I
today.
mirror the Geek Squad? Like
And
kinda can I kinda copy them more or less?
absolutely, yeah, that copy it, but that's your competitive
That
intelligence.
will that be plagiarism if I take
No, no,
if
no,
I
no.
go to
But
Geek Squad and
when
kinda
you write up,
copy and mirror what they do?
when you write up what's the competition, you say you go to the Geek Squad and you take a picture, or you go to the website and you copy and say this is what Best Buy does. Now, Best Buy is an established brand. They can exact a higher price because there's more behind it than, you or me doing this on our own.
But they do more than computer repair. They
Right.
go out and do they go
But
out and do
all
home
I'm saying,
theaters and
Stephen, is
everything.
take what's already there. Don't just imagine, take existing, because there are people in this business already. Kathy, you went through it, you experienced this. So you don't have to start with just imagining. You take whatever is there. Now, you may not use that. You may not say, I'm just going to match what, Johnny or Mary does, but I'm going to start with that because they've already been down the road doing it.
But basically, you match what Best Buy
You
charges
start you start with
for
what
installation and all that.
you
Like you do like
start
the
you start in
installation
your
thing.
business, Stephen, with whatever other people are doing today, right? You want to get those customers. You want to be a substitute for those customers. So they're already paying in Diana's case, they're already paying, a price of which is bundled in there anywhere from 10 to 20% commission. So you're not going to come in and say, well, I think I'm going to charge 50% commission or 5% because it's dictated. So you start with that.
I actually did some jobs. Like I used to sell like vacuum cleaners for Kirby and all them. So I used to get like commission on every vacuum
Yeah.
I sold.
Well, yeah, that's your revenue stream. Kathy, did you
So,
have any other questions? Okay.
Do we just edit right on the Excel sheet that was provided in the
Yes, you use that.
folder? Okay.
I'm guessing. I mean, I honestly haven't gone through every one, but they're
Mhm.
provided as that's your, you know, that's your
Step by step.
baseline.
Cool.
And
Okay,
the
that's what I've
template,
been doing. I just wanted to make sure it was those that we
Diana,
just
have you done
used.
that already? You've already started populating.
I have, and
Okay.
yeah, I saved it off to another file name and just, that's the one I'm working on as my,
Okay.
Okay.
as my copy, so. I keep
oh, by
I'll
the
do
way,
like a
hey,
2
girls,
then.
Yeah.
Okay.
does anybody feel like doing like a study group so we all do well on
Well,
these
that was my
advanced questions?
suggestion, just to throw that out. Thanks, Stephen. If you guys for the next quiz and the next quiz and then beyond,
Yeah,
if you
because a
wanted
bunch of
to,
us didn't do so well on that quiz.
you can, that's an option. How you do that, I'm not sure. If you all have Zoom accounts. I don't know if you know that, but you all have Zoom accounts. They're basic accounts. So you can do this. You can't record. If you do, you record on this one's recorded to the cloud, but you'd record on your computer. But you could do this, and you probably already do FaceTime and things like that. But it's helpful. That's why I suggested it. If to prepare for the next quiz, it might be
Yeah,
a
because
good thing to
I
get
talked to
together.
the school professor and like we have to make sure we maintain a 3.0 GPA
Right.
or we lose the financial aid and we'll get
Right.
kicked out. So like you said, even if we shit out on all the quizzes and get a C, if we rock everything else and even though if we
Well,
crash and burn on the quizzes,
let's talk this. Let's come back to the quiz, but let me finish with Michelle on the business plan issue. What are you thinking?
Thank you, Dr. Bob. Yeah, I'm working on something I've been talking about with, so I got a business with a friend of mine,
Okay.
but the business is not here. 4 years ago, he resigned from his job in Maryland. He's a construction engineer, so we raised the money.
Okay.
We did raise $200,000, so
Wow.
to establish two business, but in Congo, because originally I'm from Congo, Kinshasa.
Okay.
So one in construction and one in agriculture. So
Agriculture. Okay.
yes, the construction is going. He was here 2 weeks ago. We just get two contract, $2 million a contract. But the agricultural part, we leasing a land, 150 hectares. So we start with a pineapple. We did put 50,000 pineapple, and we think we're gonna harvest maybe 45,000 or 40,000, and then we start a simple size of chili pepper. So
Where is this? Where are
in
you
Congo, I'll send you
in
some.
Congo?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll send you
Africa.
some video and some
Yeah.
photo. So
Okay.
I was talking with a coworker. He's a mechanical engineer from Pakistan, and he say he got a friend who's doing he's a retailer. He got a big company. Pretty much he buy chili pepper from India, Mexico, everywhere, and he do distribution across the United States of America. So 2 weeks ago we went to one of the store. They selling some of the product. So I took some photo of
Okay.
the powdered chili, the dried chili, and I talked to my friend. So that's really the base of my business plan. I start populating the Word document. My challenge is gonna be in import export law and how much it's gonna cost. So I did not decide yet if I need to start the idea just, yes, I got warehouse here in the United States, and then I do wholesale to the guy, which is gonna be the big guy in New York is gonna do the distribution, or I need to start from where the chili is gonna come from, and then so I'm writing some stuff.
Well, yours, no, this is it.
You know, I don't have any business thing. I'm an electronic
No, no, no,
engineer,
no.
so
But you're
it's really
well. First
yeah,
of
yeah.
all, Michelle, fascinating idea, and not just an idea. You got some, skin in the game. You guys have raised capital. You have higher expectations. You want to see some of that, return. So you got to do not, got to do this, but it's not like this is just a dream. Um, Now it sounds like you've got some very specific actions underway for planting so many pineapples. Diana said it takes 2 years. Like, like, making
It
wine,
does.
right? You
It
know,
does take 2 years for the pineapple to
well,
mature.
if you were to start a vineyard and you wanted to make wine, you're looking at, years before that's ready. But it's a very, you got to do it. It's just in agriculture, it takes time to harvest. Anyway, it's complicated by the fact that you're growing overseas and you're importing, but that's okay, because if there's a demand for it, which that's
Yeah,
doesn't
it is.
matter. You got
Yeah,
to
there's
do
the demand. There's
you
the
you
There's
demand.
you
always
figure it
and
out
here's
and
the
you
thing, there's
say
always a demand for that kind of
you
I just had
product,
pineapple
like chili
tonight.
peppers.
well, but again, what is it? What's the hook? What's the unique thing about your pineapples or chili peppers or whatever? And it could be simply imported from Congo, or something like that,
I
because it
got it. So
resonates.
I'll share some photo of the
Sure.
classmate if you guys want. So
Yeah.
the pineapple is ready. I did not know if they use that because we contract with
Where do you,
a,
Michelle, where do you grow the
a group.
pineapples in the Congo? Is it more of a rainforest
Yes,
type of
sir.
climate?
Yes, Stephen. Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
because I did a thing on the Congo for environmental science, and I
Oh,
know,
that's
like,
great.
yeah,
well,
it's a
I
beautiful
think
area.
I think when you maybe we wherever I have to start a discussion topic on the business plans, but if this is what you choose to do, and I think it's a great idea, populate it
He's
with
got
some pictures.
Yeah.
professor. He's got a good, really good,
Well, and
realistic
I think he's
thing.
got some customers too
Yeah, he
sitting on
can
this
run with
call.
that because the fact that it's just unique because you
Yeah.
don't find is the thing, Professor. You don't find pineapples in Africa in the Congo. That's something usually you find in Hawaii.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I'm not gonna bring pineapple here. I'm bringing chili pepper.
Chili
You're
peppers.
bringing chili peppers.
Yes, yes,
Except
yes,
for us.
Well, that's
yes.
Chili
okay.
peppers. I
I'll
grew
take
some of them
chilies.
Yeah.
chili peppers. Yeah,
So,
you can make you could market it good, Michelle. And it really can make you a Fortune 500 company.
oh,
Well,
we'll try. We're trying. We've been doing this for the past four
I mean,
years.
that's
It's
well,
been really challenging.
that's great.
Yes, but
So guys, just imagine. I say, don't. I mean, really imagine what you guys are doing already. You're already in business.
yeah, we got a
Just not.
website for the
or try
construction
to
No,
part.
take
that's what I
one of
mean.
these.
You've
Yeah.
already, like, Diana's been doing this. You've been doing this. Kathy, you're maybe not as much, but
Here and there.
you're no,
Or
I
you
know
don't.
about
We
it.
all, if Stephen, we all dabble, right? We all have
Hmm.
done
I'll
something. And if
try to
somebody
sell
says, "Can you
one of
do
these.
this?" And while you might not have your LLC started or whatever, you do stuff as a consultant,
Look at
whatever it
this
might
box
be.
about. I have all these expensive these vehicles that I'm trying to market and try to sell all this die cast stuff that I have. I mean, I must have about $4,000 worth of die
Well,
cast I'm trying to
see, that's what I
sell.
mean, Stephen.
Yeah.
You're dabbling in, like,
Online sales.
online
Shopify.
sales, right?
Well,
Yeah,
I
Basically,
got
yeah.
like stuff
that's
like this right here. These collectibles.
right.
The only thing is the
Mhm.
market's caca for them. That's the problem.
Well,
I'm probably gonna eat it good. That's the problem.
well, that's how it goes. But
Especially these right here. These
yeah,
are $275 for these emergency replica models.
You can
well,
put that on eBay.
yeah,
Create the SCC and put it on
The
that's
only
eBay.
thing is the turnaround for eBay is it's a 40% markup with all the damn fees.
but
Yeah, the
that's
fees are
what.
bad.
But Stephen, that's what started eBay, right? And the rest is history. You know, some rare item that well, I forget what it was. It didn't even work, but it didn't matter,
But I have some rare items right here. Like
right?
this right here. This
Yeah,
is like real rare. This Kodiak Matchbox car from '95.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
so
Mm.
again, I want to shift over to the quiz and the economics in the last 20 minutes or so. But just the bottom line on the for now for the business plan, and you guys have time, but you know it's good that you start in earnest. Is be thinking this, you know, just it's easier said than done, but be thinking about, you know, it's about business. You are in this program to raise your business acumen, to be much more astute at business issues. And they cover many things. The more obvious ones are the finance and stuff, but there's, as you study organizational behavior, marketing is really psychology. I mean, there's a lot of soft issues, human issues that are there, HR, right? But to be looking at them not as, you know, well, I know who they are, but really, if you were the CEO or if you were responsible for the business aspect, that's how you that's the mindset you want to have in this program. This early exercise is to
or
get you thinking
or
about, well,
or
what
this.
are those pieces, and let's have, you know, there's a formula, there's this prescription of, let's define the product, let's, you know, what's the marketing strategy, you know, what's the sales forecast, on and on and on. But really it's to say you're going to study that, and we encourage you, if you're already doing it, do more of it, because you don't know what the future holds. The future may not be what you're doing now. Probably won't be 10 years from now. You probably won't be doing what you're doing now, or what, you know, exactly. So, you know, have a plan B. And
I wish I
that's,
could be rich from selling all this diecast.
well, you will, Stephen, you
I
will,
got about $6,000, $7,000 worth of diecast in my house,
well,
and I
you,
can't
you
move the
gotta,
goddamn stuff
you're going
because
to
of the
end up,
market.
the rule in real estate, you just went through this, Kathy, selling your house.
Mm-hmm.
You've ever heard this term, highest and best use? That
Oh,
this
no, I haven't
this
heard that one.
highest and best use of any asset. So if you're, you know, if you have an asset and it's, you know where you've heard location, 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 right?
Yep.
Yes.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
about highest and best use. That's, you know, you have leverage by a corner location, and then you want to find its highest and best use. And you'll find over time that it might have started out as a retail location, and then it might have evolved into something else, and then into something else. Now it's doing CBD sales or whatever. But you know, that's an astute business person. Where can this asset receive the highest and best use in return? So Michelle, as you think about, and even to you as an individual, right? So Kathy, as you assess, well, what else could I do? Where do you start? What do I know? And I start with what I know, that's going to get me farther than something I don't know. And so
Yeah.
you apply that, and that's why I say start with something close in, and then develop the process of going through a business planning, you know, a business plan. And then
Yeah.
down the road, should you say, hey, I really like to extend my product sales, then use that process on that kind of thing. Michelle, the
See,
same thing. If your first one was construction, I don't know if it was construction or agriculture, but
Yeah,
whatever it
construction.
was,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the closer one in that you know that you can get some headway and see some results, do that. But learn along the way, how did I do that? What was I good at? Do your own SWOT analysis, and then take it to the next step. And you
But
know,
going,
it's not rocket science. It's not magic. It's just, it's uncertain. And that's what the more, it's like all things,
We
practice
got
makes
more
perfect.
stuff in here, Bob. Look, Dr.
Okay,
Bob.
but Stephen, not now, but you have something, you have an asset there, have assets,
Now,
many of them.
if I can move it all and make some money, I'd be happy.
Well, so you
I
got to
wouldn't
move
be
it
broke.
because you got to use those assets to their highest and best use and find other assets that you can leverage, right? It might not be die-cast, cars. It might be something else. But anyway, any other questions right now? I think the main thing was get that idea, start populating, obviously read the stuff. There are a lot of good YouTube videos. I'm sure you've seen them as you go through the text, which are fine. But remember, this text is, pretty old. Not old. I mean, it's, I don't know,
Look,
8 years old, 10 years old. So if you look at some more current startup videos on what goes into business plans that are not as, laden and detailed, but crisper, that might give you some ideas. I'll share one or two as I go through, but there's a whole bunch of resources for this. Now let's talk about the quizzes. If you guys don't mind, just for a minute. The quiz
Yeah, I
came.
can't be bombing the next two quizzes.
Well, so the quiz came and went, and really wasn't an average score, because if you looked at it, there were people that did well and then people that didn't do well. So we call that bimodal. So it wasn't
Hmm.
a bell curve. It was like, that kind of thing. And I just chalk that up to, first
Can
time
I ask,
in.
Kathy, are you there?
I'm here.
How did you do on that quiz?
I did pretty good.
So
Question, with those problems where they actually gave you a situation, like, did you find them confusing compared to the other multiple
Um,
choices based on the text?
I
Well,
personally didn't. No, I just thought they were pretty straightforward for me.
So
so
it's anyway, the point was that, and I didn't know this, and I tried to explain, if I don't know if it was clear or not, but there was a whole bunch of questions, and they did an automatic test generator every time another student took it. You took different questions,
Yeah,
and
I only had 20 and they were
there
you
was
couldn't
only
pick any of
20,
them.
but those same
Yeah.
20, you didn't do the same 20 that Stephen or Michelle or Diana did.
Oh, okay.
everybody
So
had his own set of 20.
they mixed them up. Now it could be that you were dealt, some easier question. I don't know. They're all graded the same.
Sure.
But the point is, that's how they're going to do the next two quizzes.
I got confused because the way the questions were and the answers, like vitality and like there's some of these like retention and attitude to do what they were talking about in the question, and I'm like, what the hell does this mean?
Well,
What's this to do with what this girl's talking about, J.C. Penney and these other retailers where she's got coupons for and about the old sneakers and being
okay,
ripped and
so Stephen, for the next time, I mean, what I try to do also is to say, just test taking strategy in multiple choice, that usually, not always, but usually if you have 4 or 5 choices, they boil down to 2 that really
but
matter.
it's those. I know what you're talking about. If it
Right.
was a real like I took tests like 2 years ago. I was in a welding technology program, and we had a textbook, and our professor, he when he did the quizzes, and he did our midterms, and he did our final, he mixed it up. Like for the quizzes, he'd take stuff from like the publisher, but then he would put print some print tests. Like he'd give some print questions in the quiz. Like he was able to make his own
He could
quiz. Like
modify. I can't modify these. The quizzes are what they are. I have no
I'll tell
control
you,
over
I'm
them.
gonna say it straight out. No offense, but they suck. They're terrible.
Well, they are what they are.
They're
So,
horrible. I mean, the questions are disgusting. Like it's should be based on what we read. And oh, another question is, what about the lectures? The lectures.
Mhm.
that your buddy did, and now there's a lady,
Well,
one of our
yeah, these are colleagues in the College of Business. They're not, I don't
your
know.
colleagues.
I know
Now,
them, but I don't know them well.
I know you
Um,
don't know them, but I want to. That's and this question might help Kath, Michelle, and everybody else. Now, those awesome lectures that they give us, they're like say 5 or 6 or 7 minutes long. There's a bunch this coming week because of the economics,
right.
you know, first part. Now, should we pay attention what's in those lectures to try to help us do
Absolutely.
better on the quizzes,
Absolutely.
not just the readings?
Yeah, because the readings are textbook, and what the lecturers, when they could develop the course, they took that material, they took their own knowledge. That's why you have a different instructor for economics than for marketing, right?
Do
Because
you
it's a
know this?
different
You
discipline.
know that lady? What's her name? Doctor something. She's.
I don't know her. I do know the first Bob Clymer. I know him.
Oh, you
Clymer.
know Bob.
Yes.
But so you don't know the lady that's doing the market, that's doing the
That's doing
economics.
economics. No. But one of the things I wanted to share with you guys was, and I shared this with Stephen, is the Khan Academy. And if you guys are familiar with that, I'll just show it real quick. Kathy is shaking your head. It's a great resource.
I was using it earlier.
Let
I
me,
mean, yesterday or the day before. I was watching about economics, and it was talking about like the different parts of micro and macroeconomics
okay,
in Khan
so
Academy.
yeah, so if you go to, can you guys see
But
this?
but here's the thing.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I want to tell you what this success coach, what Brett said, that he said don't depend on Khan Academy. Like he said that I should be more like pay attention to what's in the course more than what's
No,
outside.
that's true. No, that's true, Stephen. But if you wanted to get some, can you explain it in a different way? Economics is not intuitive. Economics, you gotta, like accounting. When you get to accounting, you either sort of get it or you don't. I mean,
Oh, I'll
so
just get it.
economics is a similar kind of, discipline. So what I like about, and I'm not saying Khan Academy is the only thing and the best thing. It's just
Trust me, Professor. There's a lot of awesome videos out
and
there.
you don't have to watch them all, but if you want to just say, can somebody else explain this? Like what I was going over, which was the elasticity of demand,
But
which is
that's what actually, what I was doing today for a couple hours. I was in the library
okay.
and I was focusing on what, just not just watching the doctor's lectures on electricity and Uber. I can't say it. It's to do with economics, but she was defining all the different types of electricity and like.
Well, I'll just say for now, that is probably one of the toughest things to explain concepts because, and we get too wrapped around the axle with the calculations, percent of change of quantity demanded over percentage change of price. I mean, I know this, I teach this, and when we get to that part, people's eyes just glaze.
Yeah,
And,
because
and
you're talking cross elasticity, income elasticity,
well, all of it,
elasticity
but
of demand.
so let me do this, Stephen. Just be patient for 1 second and tell you what the whole point is. We sometimes miss the forest for the trees. When you say price elasticity of demand, first it's hard to say. And then, people are like, why? And then they start drawing graphs and then they start doing calculations and you have decimal places and people are just like, oh my God, what is all that?
And
But
don't forget
but
the formulas.
but the most important thing about it is the very purpose of it. Do you remember in the click pens case? Do you remember when Chen said that a 1% or no, a 10% increase in price will lead to I want to say 6% reduction in quantity demanded.
Yes, I remember
Okay, or
that.
something like that. So,
Because Chen and McMillan got into an argument about that.
right. So let me show you, if you guys don't mind, let me just show you that. Because that part is,
Can we like
I
go
know you're
through
gonna get
to-
stuck on it. Okay,
that way
so
that we don't all get confused this coming week with this new, for a lot of people are kind of not familiar with economics.
yeah, so can you guys see this?
Yep.
So we'll just use that E sub D is elasticity of demand. And it's this.
So is it to do with price increases, price deduction, and how much is being demanded? Like
So, okay, so what it is what's the percentage change, that's delta, in quantity demanded, and what we buy or choose not to buy, over the percentage change in price. Okay. That
the demand in auto fuel. That's why it makes
if
it so high.
if so just Stephen, like what Chen said is that no, in okay, so you're going over this. This is the law of demand. You guys have seen this in the lectures, or you will see it. And you remember this maybe from undergraduate, that you
Yeah,
are
I know what you're talking about.
you
Explain
have
it.
an
Yeah,
there's an indirect relationship of price to quantity. When price is high,
quantity is low, right?
yes, price quantity is low. When price is low,
Quantity is high because you got an increase. Because you
right?
got you got like a 10% increase
Well,
because you
it's
got
right. It's that, and
more
so
people
it
buying.
happens so much we call it a law. It's not a law, but of nature. But it's basically when price goes up, like price of gas, we don't buy as much. When it comes down, we buy more, and on and on and on. We all see this now all too well with inflation that we haven't experienced in a long
Yeah,
time. So
we
we
had
buy less.
126. Yeah,
We
we had
buy less.
120.
Stephen, hold on. We don't. It's not that we don't buy anything, but we buy less of something. We think twice about it when it costs more. Okay.
Mhm.
So this is the law of demand. And I think that's the extent that you're going to have to cover. You're going to also look at supply. When you put supply and demand together, you're going to come up with equilibrium. Okay. But one of the offshoots of this is the elasticity of demand. So go back to what Chen was saying. If you raise price, you're going to lose quantity, right?
Mhm.
And market share. Remember, they were making this argument back and forth. And McMillan, I guess, was the sales guy and saying, no,
Yeah,
no,
because
don't raise price,
McMillan said if you raise prices, we're gonna lose customers and it's gonna
So
depreciate sales.
so remember, as price goes up, the quantity demanded, this is really quantity demanded, goes down. That's the inverse relationship.
What about
Now,
referring?
Stephen, let me finish. So the issue is that Chen brings up is that that's true, that that this will go the opposite way of that. But how much is what he's bringing up? That if quantity demanded, if the change in price, is
Like $5 for a highlighter.
let's just say, what was it before? The percentage change in price he said was, oh, I don't know, 10%.
It was a 10% markup.
I can't remember exactly, but
It's
he
like
said if you raise price by
$2 a
10%
It's
and the
like $2
quantity,
or $2 per pen, I think they said.
let's just do this, Stephen. If you raise price 10% and quantity demanded falls, because it's going to be negative, this is always going to be negative because they go in the opposite direction, falls by less than 10%, that's to your benefit. Think about it, right? You raise the price, no matter what you do, if you raise the price, quantity demand is going to fall. But if it falls less than you raise the price, then it pays for itself. Does that make sense?
Like,
That's
I know
what Chen was arguing. He's saying,
Yeah.
yes, we should raise price because, and here's why. Not all products do this. This is what we miss all the time. Why it's really important to all of you about the business you want to portray. You want to have a business that is unique, that there are no substitutes, that has a niche, that is something that others can't do or can't do as well. And if you have that, then you lean towards an inelastic product.
But here's the thing.
So let me finish,
Professor.
Stephen. Let me finish that. So the issue that drives this the most is called substitutability. What does that mean? That means if you buy something, how much real competition is there? If there's very little competition, if it's not substitutable, then it's demand inelastic. Those tend to be necessity items. Healthcare. Kathy, you're in healthcare, correct?
Yep, correct.
That is as necessity as they get, right? What can you substitute for healthcare? You cannot take healthcare, right? But you either get it or you don't.
Well, see,
And
the thing.
as a result, Stephen, let me finish. As a result, what
Mhm.
happens to the price of healthcare? It's
Oh, it
through the
goes
roof,
up.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, because there's no
horrible.
competition.
Take insulin just as one example, or any, look at big pharma. Why are they doing so well? Because they make products that have no substitutes. Well, they have substitutes, but so we're dependent on it. So you're not blessed to be in a monopoly business like that, but think about your business in that way. What's unique about what I do? What Chen was arguing was click pens are better than the average. They're not a commodity product in his mind. He's a marketing guy. They're unique. We have, a distinct technological edge. We're not playing our hand. We're not marketing that. We're just playing like everybody else, like it's a commodity. So, Michelle, when you bring those chili peppers over, you better brand the heck out of them. Like these chili peppers have traveled, 10,000 miles to get here, and they've aged and they're just better because they
I'll
flew.
I'll try, doctor. But my contact, the guy in New York, I think he contract with a lab of food science. So what we're doing, we're gonna bring some sample in summer here.
Yeah.
So go through the lab. So it'll tell us what type they want us to grow. There's an opportunity over there. So
Well,
Yeah.
so I'm just saying so let me just finish this up. I'm sorry it takes so long. So there's three types of, very, very broad. So if this turns out to be less than 1, right? 5% over 10.5, right? So it's less than 1. If the value after you do this calculation is less than 1, that's considered inelastic. Okay. If it's greater than 1, it's considered elastic.
But we're going to be talking about cereals this coming week.
Okay, and it'll apply to cereal. If it's equal to 1, it's considered unit elastic or
What do you mean?
unitary.
How
It's
many?
1 for 1. So if you sort of the traditional thing, thinking of this as a commodity, if you raise the price by 10%, then you lose sales by 10%. That's unit elastic. Chen was arguing again for inelastic.
Yeah, he wanted
Elastic.
inelastic because he felt if you increase the price 10% on the product, that somebody else is going to go elsewhere. Like they're going to say,
So
"Well, I'm not going to
so
pay."
if it's very substitutable, right? If you go into the grocery store, right, and this is what the cereal thing is on, and you go down the cereal aisle, there's more to it than just going down. But especially now, aren't you comparison shopping a whole lot of things?
Yeah, because like you figure a box of, just look at the box of cereal, like a 10 ounce or 12 ounce box of dry cereal is the average price is like $6 or $7 compared to
But all I'm saying,
3.99
Stephen, all I'm
two and a half
saying is
years
that
ago.
if you're in a commodity market where there's many choices, then you're dealing with an elastic good. And
But
it's
don't
very, you're very price sensitive, then you have to be careful not to adjust price.
but here's the thing, Professor. Let's think about Kellogg's. Let's think about like uh the cereal, different types of cereal. But here you got your generics, like your cereals from Walmart.
Right,
That
this store brand,
you
right,
got your store brand versus your national brands.
right. So store brands are going to be less because why? Because they have no brand identity, right? So you're going to pay more for Kellogg's or General Mills or brands, national brands. But what even within the national brands, you're going to have it becomes elastic because you can go from this to this to this. But
But now
what
here's
do
the
they do?
thing now.
What do those brands do though?
But if you look, like I was in Stop and Shop because everything's so high and people going elsewhere, and there's so much competition for growth. They're kind of slashing the prices where they're saying, "Oh, you can
Okay.
buy a
All
box
right.
of cereal and get one free."
Right. And so you end up with these promotions and specials and that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
because they're trying to
But
draw. They're
but
trying
the
to draw
bottom line,
customers.
just to wrap this for now, because we're past 9 o'clock, is that um when you get to a thick subject like elasticity of demand,
But when
that's when you want to, and the textbook and the lectures don't really do it for you. That's when you go to Khan Academy or some other source and
but
say,
there's
"Can you
seven
tell me
chapters
more?"
this week. There's 7 chapters to
Right.
read.
Uh,
How is anybody gonna read all that and do
it-
a discussion?
well, they will. But there
I
will be
started already this week. I was
there will
gonna
be
try to
thick
read.
parts, Stephen, when you get to parts like this, and you'll say, dang, I still don't get it. That's when you want to fall back to other resources. Okay. Um,
This is like this economics, like there's all a bunch of stuff that you really gotta know and be able to explain in this coming week's discussion, but yet try to work on building that business plan so there's something
so
there that you can tweak out as you go.
right. So
And
I
not
would
wait till 6 to
my
try to build the whole
my
thing.
suggestion is for this week, the remainder of this week, which is not much, is to try to really make as much headway on your business plan. Try to populate that as much as
How
you
would you
can.
populate it though?
You just start going through the spreadsheets and filling in the required information. But the first thing you have to do, Stephen, is pick that, and define this computer repair / web development service, and then start,
But here's the
putting
thing, there's a difference between wants and needs and what's necessity and what's not necessity, because people are gonna pay for services that are more necessity compared to non-necessity. Uh like Diana, traveling is a non-essential. That's something extra if you have money, you know,
well,
compared to something that needs to be done, like your computer's broken or your TV doesn't work. Something wrong with the TV and your
so Stephen,
sound
before you,
stuff.
let me just tell you that Diana is also in an inelastic business.
Oh, is
Well,
she?
yeah, because people I'm sure you're familiar, Diana, when they want to go on vacation and they want to go and travel, get out of their way. And, it's just the nature of travel. I mean, while it might be in general, that's not the first thing, but once they've made that choice that we're going to do, a travel, a
But
tour, a cruise,
the
and yeah. So, why is Orlando, why is Florida so popular? Why is it like the #1 destination in the country?
people, that's what people like. They
Because they
like
got
all.
stuff down there. They got Disney, anchoring it. They got lots more than that, but that's the anchor,
You got the Sea
right?
Aquarium, you got Busch Gardens, you got Kennedy
So,
Space Center,
but that's what Florida has done
you got the
over
Keys.
time is they've developed something nobody else can do. Not nobody, but very few other places around this country can do as well as they can do.
But
So
Florida's known for their Walt Disney World cruises too, from
no,
Miami
but I'm
to.
just saying Disney's, in a league of its own. Disney's just created magic, no pun intended. That's
But that's what Florida's known for.
yeah. So
That's the target market for Florida.
bingo.
Is Walt Disney.
So
That's the target market.
now it's space. So put magic and space together, and oh my God, get out of the way. So anyway, we covered a lot of things, and I just, do you guys want to continue to do this? Is this helpful? If we do this again next week, I would like to start earlier. Um, is 7 too early for you
That's
guys?
fine, Professor.
I mean, I want
With
to hear
me.
from everybody. Michelle, is that okay?
It's fine. So some days I'm
You won't
gonna
be, no, and that's
no,
okay. And
I'll be in the office. It's okay. It's fine.
okay.
Yeah, it's
So
fine. Yeah.
Kathy
But
and
I can
Diana,
do that in the office too. It's fine.
is
Yeah.
that okay? Diana
Yeah.
and Kathy?
I'm flexible.
Okay. And like I said, we're recording this. So if you can't catch it, you can see it. And you can imagine folks that weren't here tonight. It's a broad range of things that we're covering, but I'll try to mix where I can a little bit of lecture in with just trying to cover sort of what's due this week.
But
Uh,
like kind of the next Zoom call, well, can we do like the economics, like what we're talking, about the
I'll
cereal,
spend
and
more time. Yeah, I'll definitely spend more time on
so
that.
that way we understand what's going on and
So what I
we
would
better
say,
digest it.
Stephen, that's a great point. Have some questions. So do the readings, go find some more material, but then say, I still don't understand this or this. I just raised elasticity of demand because I always get that question. Like, I don't get that. Can you explain it? But if there's something else that comes up, in the readings and lecture, let's talk about that. And that way,
Can you modify the discussion questions to make it more like
I
easier to
will when I get
answer?
to it. I will when we that thing goes up for week 4. Before it goes up, I'll change it. Okay. I haven't graded your week 2 stuff yet. I still got to do that.
When are you
Okay.
gonna do that so I can see where I am grade
When
wise?
you
Because
know
I
before
crapped
the
out on the
weekend,
test.
when I can get some breathing time, but I will.
But I
Okay.
do want to ask Kathy if she's still here. Moving forward to the next quiz, what's her recommendation and suggestions that might help me not bomb the next quiz? Because I can't afford to bomb no more quizzes. I won't
As
do well
I
in the program.
as I read, I just take notes. And I'm a note person, so I'll write it all out and then I'll reread it. And then like Professor said, when if I don't understand something, I start researching. I'll Google
That's what I did. That's what
everything.
I did with these
Yeah.
with all these new terms for economics. I researched it and I printed it out and now I know what the hell all this foreign language means. I mean, I took an economics class in high school, advanced Regents level. We talked about supply and demand, about the supply chain and all that stuff, but we didn't get into elasticity and all that stuff. You know, we talk about
Yeah,
wants and needs.
elasticity is more of an advanced microeconomics, concept, but it's
But that's the
important.
thing now. When
I, I hope,
me
I hope
having a company, it's like it has to be an illicit, something that's a
you want
necessity,
to be, I mean, the
not a
bottom line
not a
is
want.
if you had the choice between offering a product that's price elastic versus price inelastic, you'd want to
Is
do the
inelastic
price
something that
inelastic. You'd want to be
it's
unique. You know, the saying, accept no substitutes. Basically, you're saying, I'm the only answer to your problem.
so
That's the
inelastic an
product. That's the kind of
inelastic
product you want to
price?
offer.
It's like an inelastic price. Is that something that's more meaningful and something more
It's
on
not
the
more
legitimate
meaningful. It's
side?
just that you have something that nobody else does. I mean, at the extreme end, that's called a monopoly, right? But you know what monopoly behavior is. If they're the only ones,
Like the
you
like
have
the
no choice.
cable.
Like healthcare, Kathy, what
Same
are you
thing
going
with
to
the
do?
cable companies. They're a monopoly. They control everything. That's why
Right.
the cable bills are so high.
Yeah,
Exactly.
cable, electricity, yeah.
Yeah, same thing with electricity is a
Higher
monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
education. I mean,
Uh,
just go down the list.
but
Gasoline,
then,
things that you can't find easy substitutes for.
well, I
You're going
took
to
a
end up
class
paying
called
higher prices.
white. I took a class called White Collar Crime, and we talked about monopoly and about the unfair trade practices, and you know,
Happens all the time.
and
Hey,
that's
Stephen,
yeah,
one of the things I would want to suggest to you, at the bottom they gave some those suggested practice problems that are in the text and stuff. Those
yeah.
are written very similar to the way that the test questions were written. I mean, they're a little more labor intensive and stuff like that, but it gives you the answer. He is also giving us the answers to those specific questions, and I just thought they helped out a bit as
So
well.
those were, Diana, those were in the text
Yeah, because
itself
I
at the,
can't, Diana. I don't know how well you did, but I think a lot of it I overthought the quiz. I mean, if
Mhm.
I would have went back, I had about 18 minutes left. If I would have went back, I would have picked up on those 5 or 6 questions that I got wrong, and they would have got right, and
yeah,
my 55 would have been a 95 or a
yeah.
90.
So, but what Diana said was there were questions that I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
take
I've
note
seen
of
that.
that. You're talking about
So
the end of
there,
chapter?
yeah, if you look on the courses and in like the week, so week
Yeah,
4 that we're looking
right,
at
I've seen
the
that.
very end
Yeah, there's
of the
practice
reading, it
problems.
says suggested practice problems ungraded. Um, and they give a couple of different questions for each one of the chapters that we read, and then the answers are
Oh, the
given as
practice
well.
questions
Yeah,
for
at-
quiz 2 and
for the
3. Yeah,
chapters. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, no, not for the quizzes. Not for the
Ah,
quizzes. These are off the readings. These
off
are
the
these
readings.
are
Are these the
chapter
like
questions.
Okay.
situation questions where they talked about like the electric company with the rates and all that, and like what was on the quiz?
No, she's saying in the end of the chapters, right?
Yeah, I've seen
For
that.
the
I've
Yes.
seen the
readings. Yeah.
questions.
Mhm.
I was looking at them. I was
I'll
looking
look
at
at
all the
them because I didn't pay attention and
yes,
okay,
professor. At the
good
end of
point.
at the end of each chapter, there's a bunch of discussion questions and there's a bunch of practice problems,
And
which
those are
Diana's
similar.
talking about.
Okay.
But see, the thing is, when my professor at the other schools I went to, like when I was in undergrad,
Right.
all our quizzes and our discussion, because see, I went to a small school like Florida Tech, but I was an on ground student. But some of my classes want to offer it on ground, so I had to take them online.
Right. Well, so that makes sense because the course developers who put these together used the textbook, right? They use these resources. So if there were
I
already
guarantee
questions
you,
in there,
they used those practice problems, but they modified it.
yeah, sure. The
It's
change,
not the same practice problem, or you're gonna look up that practice problem in your chapter and say, "Oh, there's the answer."
yeah. But I mean, that's a good resource to know. That's a way of reviewing and preparing um for the
Yeah,
quiz.
yeah. I seen that, and I never thought of it. I mean, I seen the discussion, I seen the practice problems,
Well,
but
take a look at them. Then I
if
will
you can
too.
answer them, then I should get
At least
a
you'll have
passing.
seen the possibility of them being on this quiz if it worked out that way for the first quiz. All right. Any other questions or comments right now? All right. Well, God, thank you. Appreciate it. We'll start. I'll send this recording out, and then we'll start
But
next
what do you
week at
think I
7.
should do? Like, because like you said, I should start actually doing my business plan. Should I start the template? Like start like what the name of my company and whatever, and
I
then
think so.
jump on
Yeah.
the
I mean,
spreadsheet, or
start
should I?
first. I mean, just start first. Sort of what is it, and I'm thinking about and defining it. And so Diana, did you go through the Word file? What have you specifically
So
done?
specifically, the ebook walks you through and tells you when you're supposed to fill out what on the Excel document or what on the Word document. I mean, it is step by step.
Okay.
Go to this Excel file and fill out this
Okay.
based on what I've told you in the text or based on some of the video links that are in the text.
Okay.
Go to the Word document. Go to, I mean, you may not touch section 1. You're like right now, the first thing it starts you off with is go to section 2. Tell us about the product. What will you sell?
Yeah.
Because what you've done is you've already developed the product description and pricing. Now you describe it in your Word document, which is the, the business plan.
Right.
Like you're selling
Words.
like you're
It
selling
walks you right through.
travel. You're selling a service, like I'm selling a service, but you do a commission, I do it by hour. Like I would be doing
Right.
in tech, like in-home tech support, like somebody's
But
surround
Steven, take what
complaint.
Diana's saying is take and read,
Yeah, that
the
makes sense what she
text.
said.
It
I
it
seen
directs
exactly
you.
yeah, I seen exactly what she's talking about. I looked through all that stuff. I actually printed out some of that text from the Business is a Beautiful Thing. Like I printed it
Right.
out right
Right.
here.
So
So
just
I could look
follow
at it
that.
better.
It's prescriptive. And then when
Yeah,
it
it is.
tells you go to the
It
Excel
tells exactly here.
sheet.
I printed out the first
Okay.
10 pages.
Okay.
And so that way I could dissect it piece by piece.
Okay. Any other questions? Good. No, thanks, Diana, for that.
No problem.
All right. Thank you, guys. I
It was
will.
nice meeting you, Diana.
Yeah,
Best of
good
luck.
meeting everybody. We'll do this again. We'll do it. I don't know if we'll do it every week, but at least for the next couple of weeks, just
Oh, I need
in
to
case people
talk
have
to you. I
questions.
got some information for you that
Okay.
you asked.
Okay. So
Appreciate it, guys.
I will see you.
Thank
I'm going to
you.
stop recording.